Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Crypto Live, everybody's favorite crypto morning show. And here's the thing, guys. We are going to build the greatest and strongest, most well-connected community in the entire crypto space. And that is because of each and every single last one of you guys that are watching. So shout out to all of you guys for tuning in this morning. Go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. It's going to be a good show today. My name is Tim. I'm the host here. I'm going to introduce my guys here in just a second. But a couple of things that you guys need to know about today's show. We're going to be talking crypto, as we always do. But you first got to start with grabbing your coffee. Get the morning started right. Some interesting things are happening. So Tom Crown was supposed to be joining the show today, and I'm very excited. He's going to be joining soon. He accidentally misscheduled how that went. He had a doctor's appointment this morning, so love you, Tom. However, we are going to have Kagan, also known as Magic Internet Money, one of your guys' favorite hosts or guests that we bring on the show. He is joining us today, so make sure you stay tuned. He'll be popping in somewhere around 10:25 or so keep an eye out for that. We're going to be talking about those Bitcoin charts. Today, we will be doing our HODL Trophy predictions at the end of the show. You don't want to miss that either. And today, we've been leading up to it, but we have a member stream at 11:15 following this live show. So all of those green names in chat, we're going to talk about you guys here in just a second. Make sure you don't miss the member stream. It is always a blast. With that being said, though, I'm going to go ahead and throw it to my co-host. I got TShroom over here to my right.
Aloha.
I got Smay the Turtle King over here to my left.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
And
Great.
We're the guys. We are here. We're here for you guys every single day, whether the market is up, down, boring, exciting. We are always here. It's going to be a great show today, guys. You know, as I said, there's not a lot happening right now. Bitcoin is kind of in a spot where it's balancing out. You know, this morning we did get as high. I saw us go over 20,500. We actually were just about to touch 20,600. But then we're falling back down right now. We're sitting around 20,277. And the question on everybody's brain, and again, I've been talking about this yesterday and even last weekend, that if we fell this far, how far down will we actually go? It did look like we found some strength around 19,500, and we're rallying back up. But the question is this short little rally actually just a bull trap? I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. T-Shroom will give you his thoughts on it, but I'm really excited to hear what Kagan thinks, as he is a Bitcoin day trader. He pays attention to these charts, what seems like 24/7. It's going to be an exciting show. Stick around for that. But before we jump into all of our crypto, I got to throw it to Smay to read those green names, those strong members we have here in chat.
Crikey, you know I like green names. All right, time to read some green names. Here we have Mike Mitchell, Gia S., Justin Eubanks, Win Peoples, Mike Lowry, Adam Rourke, Siobhan Golay, Queen, Amello Fellow, Kasha Cat, Sultan of Salt, Gogo CJC, Freedom Advocate, Crypto Alchemist, Sultan of Salt again, Freedom Advocate again, Great Review Incorporated, and that's about all the unique ones I'm saying. And then we have Betsy, and then we have Crypto Set Guy, and Shannon Sharp, our blue names. Shout out to you guys. All right, back to you, Tim.
Boom. Thank you so much there, Smay. We're about to transition into Market Pulse with T-Shroom. We got some new things we're doing here. Our sponsors, we're going to have a sponsor for the Market Pulse. We're also going to have a sponsor for our TA and guest section. But before we get there, we're going to do our new segment here, the question of the day, just to get everyone up and rolling. So I'm going to ask these two guys what their thoughts are, and I want to see in chat what your thoughts are. It's crypto themed today. Yesterday was a superhero themed. What super power would you love? Today, it's actually a pretty complicated question. And I'm interested to see what you guys say. I have a feeling what you guys are going to say, and I have a feeling where chat's going to lean, but it is interesting. Right now, would you prefer to be given 1 Bitcoin?
Yes.
Or 2 Ethereum? T-Shroom, which would you take right now?
I would go with 1 Bitcoin.
What? Really?
Yes, easy. Because I would just hold it.
Yes, easy.
Okay. Interesting.
Not just because it's worth more today, but because it would be worth more in the future. That's my belief. I think it'll be.
All right. Hey, let's see. What about you, Smay?
Smay. The answer is 1,000 Dogecoin.
Oh, going off the rails. He's going off-road with that answer.
Tim looks so disappointed that I said that. All right. So within the confines of the question, Bitcoin. Thank you.
Yeah. I realized I need to stop for a second and reflect on my miscalculation of the question.
Yeah, you should have made the Ethereum quantity equal to the Bitcoin quantity.
You know what I did? A very dumb thing of doing is thinking my brain in terms of market cap.
Gotcha.
And so I need to rephrase the question, and we're going to start this sucker right over.
You're just too advanced.
Here's what we're going to do.
You're too advanced.
The worst thing is I said 1,000 Dogecoin instead of 1 Bitcoin.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to start this over and say, would you rather have $100,000 of Bitcoin or $50,000 of Ethereum given to you today? Let's start this over. TShroom, which would you prefer?
100,000 versus 50,000?
$100,000 of Bitcoin versus $50,000 worth of Ethereum.
That's the same question, isn't it?
It's not.
Wait,
It's
why
a
would
very
it be
similar
50,000?
I'll explain here in a second.
I would go Bitcoin. 100,000 Bitcoin.
100,000 Bitcoin?
Yeah.
All right. Smay, what about you?
I would like $100,000 worth of Bitcoin.
All right. I'm the contrary in the room. I would take the 50,000 Ethereum.
Is it because you're going to get more Ethereums for that price?
So remember I
you're
told you how
expecting it to grow?
dumb of a thing my original question was? My original question was dumb because my brain was thinking market cap, and currently at the moment the Ethereum market cap is greater than half of Bitcoin. But I think long term, whether Ethereum ever flips Bitcoin or not, $50,000 of Ethereum of what I have right now versus 100,000, I think that we're going to see Ethereum actually really outpace Bitcoin. Whether it ever passes it or not, I think that Ethereum really could. $50,000 for Ethereum long term could amount to more than $100,000 of Bitcoin. That is my take.
I'm hearing that narrative more and more that Ethereum's going to outshine Bitcoin, and it could be true in the next 2 years, but in the long term, there's no way. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, I could be wrong.
It looks like chat is definitely all in on the Bitcoin train, which is, I see there's a comment here that says Bitcoin is the safest.
Exactly.
But here's the thing. I think that there's a lot in the crypto space. Ethereum has a long way to go and grow, and it is the king of altcoins. And just like we talked about before, here's the thing. I actually flipped my take. Like, I used to say there's no way Ethereum will ever flip Bitcoin in terms of market cap. Now I'm looking at it and say, I think it's a very real possibility that Ethereum someday flips Bitcoin to market cap. But it's also because it's such a different project and it serves such different things. That doesn't say that Bitcoin's not valuable. It's just that Ethereum just will be doing so much. And I think there is room for Bitcoin to continue to be amazing just like it is and be the future of the backing of currency. I think Ethereum will be the king of altcoins. And I think Cardano will still have a great future as well. I think when we're looking here in the future, crypto is going to be at the top of almost every single investment asset class out there. So you really couldn't go wrong with either one of those selections, but I'm going to go with Ethereum. I would rather have 50,000
You should take
Ethereum.
that shirt off. Because it's very disrespectful that you chose Ethereum instead of Bitcoin.
Take it off.
Can I propose just a very short question, and you have like 2 seconds to answer it?
Yeah.
All right. Would you rather have the most expensive Bored Ape or 5 Ethereum?
5 Ethereum.
Really?
The most expensive Bored Ape is worth much more than 5 Ethereum.
It is right now, but I have no idea where NFTs that are going.
I'd take the Bored Ape.
Me too. I'd take the Bored Ape.
We'll see.
Because Tim, here's what you didn't think.
Because you could sell it and get more
you
Ethereum.
could just sell it right away and get like, what, 100 something
I was
Ethereum?
I was assuming that the precipice of the question was that you had to hold on to whatever it was.
Whoa.
I
feel like the gravity of the market pulse
This
is
went
pulling
way
this.
farther than I thought it was going to, which is kind of the purpose, to engage and to get this morning going. But it is time to start our market pulse. But before we start that with TShroom, our market pulse today is brought to you by who, Smay?
It's brought to you by Anthony Price.
Anthony Price.
Anthony
Awesome.
Price.
What does he do?
Good question, TShroom. Anthony Price does your taxes.
Great.
And
I need
guys,
my taxes done.
Considering the fact that TShroom is a crypto trader, he has very confusing taxes at the end of every year. At the beginning of a new year. Look at this guy. He doesn't know how to do his taxes. Oh, crypto trading, crazy taxes. Well, guys, Anthony Price is a CPA that is familiar with the cryptocurrency tax codes because it's very hazy for traditional CPAs. It's not very clear. So he knows how to navigate those crypto taxes, and he's going to help you save as much money on your tax and get as much back in your tax returns as possible. So check him out. Link in the description. Get a free 15 to 20 minute consultation and figure out what he can do for you. Back to you, Tim. Back to you, TShroom.
All right, we're going to start off the market pulse. And if you're listening to the sound of my voice, that means that you are in the market pulse. So let's get into it. Smay, if you'll go to my screen, we have exited extreme fear, ladies and gentlemen. So we have exited extreme fear. We are now just in regular old fear as the fear and greed index has ticked up to 27. This is a metric that measures the fear and greed that is in the Bitcoin specifically, the Bitcoin market, and this is really cool at alternative.me, and you can check that out for yourself as well. But the big news here, we're exiting extreme fear, moving into fear, pretty bullish. But could have potentially missed your chance to buy at a very low. That could be the signaling of a bottom there. All right, September 21st, a much anticipated date. This is when the Fed's next rate decision will come. The Federal Reserve rate decisions have historically been extremely definitive in the price movement of equity, U.S. equities, global equities really, and also crypto, so we report on it. And right now it's looking like 75 basis point is still ticking ahead further. So yesterday I remember it was at 67, now it's at 68. I'm not going to go into this at length, but if you want to learn more why we're covering this, this is basically, this is the CME futures. This is the market predicting what the Fed is going to do on this date, September 21st, and we think it's very important. And if you don't know what it is, you should go check it out. This is at investing.com, the Fed Rate Monitor tool. You're going to love it. All right, and then one more thing, one more economic data point on September 2nd, we get the unemployment rate that is forecasted to be the same as last time, which is 3.5. So that's the unemployment rate for August. It's printing in August. I can only assume it's measuring July. But I actually, no. Obviously, it's measuring August. It'll be printed in September. Okay. So we'll see how that goes. That's not going to be a huge determinant in the mind of Jerome Powell unless it's crazy, out of control, unless people are not hiring anymore and people are looking for jobs at an extremely high rate, in which case that would give him the impetus to go to 50 basis points, not 75. But that is very unlikely, not only because it's unlikely for the unemployment rate to be going up here, but it's also unlikely that Jerome Powell's going to care because he is so laser focused on inflation, to the chagrin of Elizabeth Warren and other senators like herself. All right, moving on, and laborers in the United States. All right, moving on. Crypto lender HODLnot granted judicial management to organize restructure. This is really interesting because you do not see this a lot, but this is a beautiful, not just the view, the beautiful Singapore there. Interim managers Angela E. and Aaron Lowe of EY Corporate Advisors, PTE, have been appointed as HODLnot's interim managers, according to the official statement. This also avoided liquidating crypto holdings such as Bitcoin and Ethereum at a hefty loss. So HODLnot was able to avoid having to sell their crypto in loss. Last week, HODLnot cut 80% of its staff to save money, and now they've brought in these interim workers that I guess work for the regulatory agency. They have their own company, but they were picked by the regulatory agency there in Singapore, and now the company is able to move forward and restructure, presumably move toward bankruptcy, or maybe try to narrowly avoid bankruptcy, but it's not looking good if you're, the CEO or in any kind of leadership position there at HODLnot. It's looking, someone has replaced you by order of the regulators. So pretty interesting news there, though. Things are moving forward somewhat more bullishly if you're in that, which you're more than likely not, because if you're listening to the sound of my voice, you're probably not living in Singapore, but maybe you are. All right, we're going to move on to the next story. The FBI issues warnings over vulnerable DeFi platforms. This is apparently where all of the hacking are going on right now. The agency outlined 3 attack vectors, citing the 1.3 billion in digital assets stolen in Q1 alone of this year. So we're going to check that out. We're going to look at those vectors. But first, the Federal Bureau of Investigations issued a new warning Monday focused on attacks against decentralized finance platforms, saying that the cyber criminals are exploiting vulnerabilities in the smart contracts that govern them. So the smart contracts proving to be less robust than we anticipated. Between January and March 2022, cyber criminals stole 1.3 billion in cryptocurrencies. Almost 97% of what was stolen was from DeFi platforms. Very interesting. The agency points to 3 tactics. So these are the 3 vectors of vulnerability that they've identified in some of the most major crashes. First, initiating a flash loan. So the hackers went in and made a loan, and then I guess they never paid it back, or to the tune of $55 million in digital assets. Exploiting a vulnerability in the DeFi platform token bridge. So we've definitely seen that. And that was in the case of the Nomad token bridge earlier this month. And then manipulating cryptocurrencies by exploiting a series of vulnerabilities, including the use of a single price oracle. So the most famous price oracles, Chainlink. But I think in this case, it actually wasn't Chainlink that was used by Deuce Financial. But the hackers made off with $13.4 million. So the FBI really taking it upon themselves to go the extra mile here, tweeting out, these vectors of vulnerability and trying to make sure that they're protecting consumers and making sure that, these bad actors are on notice that the FBI is out to get you. So if you're out there hacking, quit your hacking. Sam Bankman-Fried says FTX. What's that?
You heard us here, hacking.
You heard us here, hackers. Or I'm going to retweet the FBI. All right. Sam Bankman-Fried says FTX will not buy Huawei Global. And I'm not going to read into this, but you can know there's been rumors that FTX was going to buy Suavemente Global. And Sam Bankman-Fried shot those rumors down.
I'm pretty sure that's Huobi.
Okay. Thank you. That was a collaborative pronunciation effort.
Huawei.
So I really enjoyed that collab with Smay. And then our last and most interesting, in my opinion, news story is from the Iranian businesses get the green light to use crypto for imports. So we covered this, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but Iran was in the crypto news, and it looks like they are really taking this on very strongly. Trade Minister Reza Fatami Anin confirmed that detailed regulations have been approved outlining the use of cryptocurrencies for trade and supplying fuel and electricity to Bitcoin and crypto miners in the country. Amin outlined the regulatory change at an automotive industry exhibition on Sunday, just a week after the country had placed a first-ever import order for vehicles to the tune of $10 million, using cryptocurrency as a payment method. International trade sanctions against Iran have largely been due to opposition to its nuclear program, which has essentially cut the country out of global banking system. Iran has since shifted its attention to adopting cryptocurrencies as a means to address and potentially bypass sanctions for imports, given the decentralized nature of public blockchains like Bitcoin, Ethereum, which are not controlled by government or central authorities. So a very interesting move. Iran is just going for it, man. They're taking cryptocurrency and they're doing everything that they possibly can. Not a move, I'm sure, that the United States Treasury and Bureau of National Security were really anticipating. But here we are, and that's it's definitely counter to the U.S. interest here, but it's interesting. It's an interesting use of crypto. Tim, I'd like to get your input on this if you have any. I'm not really sure that you do, but we got a couple extra minutes here in the Market Pulse
About this Iranian business.
Yeah,
I don't know. I want to see it continue to develop. I don't know if I have any concrete thoughts on it right now.
Sure.
There was one story though, TShroom, that I thought was going to be in the Market Pulse. That's not.
What's that?
And I think you asked me about it this morning, and there's nothing concrete. But there are rumors out there that literally it could be today, it could be tomorrow, could be next week.
Oh, right.
Could be a month. The Vasil hard fork should be coming soon. I know there's a video done a couple days ago, at least, that Charles kind of highlighted. Hey, we're very close. Like at this point, I think they want 75% of those SPOs, those staking pool operators, to be in agreement. I think the number given yesterday was that they got to 74%. So I know there's a lot of feeling out there at the moment that today could be the day that Vasil releases. That's not guaranteed by any means. We could have to wait a couple more days. But even that, again, we've said it before, we'll say it again. That is the beauty of the Cardano network and how decentralized it is, that no matter what Charles thinks, he will not override what he set in place. And that is the SPOs are the ones that decide when Vasil launches, not him or anyone else from IOHK. So keep your eyes out there. I'm expecting Cardano would have a good little green day when that eventually does happen, but we will keep you guys posted on that. Is that all we had for the Market Pulse?
Tim, that's all we have for the Market Pulse.
Guys, it is a great day for, not much is happening. Bitcoin's falling here a little bit. We're about to bring Kagan on. I'm very interested to hear what he thinks about this. And again, because one of the reasons why is he's one of the most, every trader really should take emotion completely out of it. But I'm just going to tell you right now, that's a lot harder to do than it is to say. Kagan's one of the few that I'm like, I think that this man honestly has no emotion and no attachment to the Bitcoin's high levels or low levels, or what. He just looks at the chart and he just makes his money. So it's always great to come and get his opinion. But before we do that, today's TA and guest discussion is brought to you by who, Smay?
No one!
Wow, we have no other sponsors today?
No, and why didn't you look at the document?
Because sometimes you don't put it in there.
We're going to have to talk about that
Today
after
it's
the
brought
show.
to you by Smay. Smay brings you the TA for today. And let's go ahead and bring Kagan in here.
I don't get to do an ad pitch for myself?
No, it's over. I pitched you.
Reels
and-
on Reels.
Okay, all right, that's fine. You said it's
Too
brought
soon.
to you by Smay, and I don't get an ad pitch, but
Yeah,
that's fine.
real quick, if you want to tell us about Reels on Reels, you can pitch us about Reels on
Well,
Reels.
Reels on Reels doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
guys.
that's too bad. All right, let's take the Kagan.
All right, you want me to bring him in now?
Let's go and bring him in.
All right, what's up?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's, we're hanging in over here, trying to keep things all together. I'm so excited to have you on. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much for being willing to join late, as I told our audience. Yeah. And Kagan is such a great guy, willing to jump on last minute. I got a message from Tom Crown yesterday, deeply apologizing. He didn't realize he had double booked himself here and a doctor's appointment. But of course, you were ready. You stepped up right to the plate. You said, I got you, Tim. Let's do it. So first of all, thank you so much for your flexibility and coming on the show. And I know all of our community here at Coffee and Crypto is as much as they would have loved to hear Tom Crown, they absolutely love hearing your voice and getting your take. So let's just jump on into it. I'm going to start with the first question, the name of this title, and I want you to kind of show us the charts, break down what you're seeing, and give us as honest an answer as you are capable of giving. Is this little Bitcoin rally, and I know it's falling here a little bit, but is this Bitcoin rally simply a bull trap, or is there any strength to it whatsoever?
Right now, I'm not really seeing any strength. I told the group that I'm in as the move was making its way down, we had some pivots that came in. I'll actually share the screen so that way you can kind of see what I'm talking about while we're doing that. If you guys recall from last week, we were looking for between 19,916.50 to 19,301 with an emphasis right at, I believe it was 19,585 to 19,640, as that's your TPO, which is time price opportunity, value area low, and then also your profile value area low, that little window. So we did come down and tap both those, looking for opportunities there. But the thing is, once you get down to this region, all you've done is come into a new week, and you now have a new weekly average. If you recall, we were looking for a weekly average potentially above these highs, which we obviously never took. You just swung failed these multiple times. You came down to the overall range low, which is your area where you're now looking for opportunity for longs. The issue is not a great low. What came in was not really something that I'm looking for a whole lot of strength, especially after what Jerome Powell said. I would imagine people are a little bit hesitant to be just throwing their money into the market right now. But these were the targets we had coming in off the bounce here. You were looking for that Q3 open at 19,916. And once you flip that area, you can go down into like the 5 minute even and see it. Once you flipped over that 19,916 area, you're now basically targeting the average of last week, which is 20,318 if you're going off of the US markets. If you're going off China closes, it's 20,576. And then you can see that I've got it extended up to that level we talked about at 20,688.50, which is really going to be a very important level in looking at the chart and the range as a whole. You can see it right here. It's a mainstay on my chart because it's a statistical average of 2021. So it's a really good pivot in the market for where we're at in the range. And as long as we're living below this, it's really hard to be bullish. Now, that doesn't mean we can't come down here and put in a significant low. I think we're going to take this low still. I have no reason to think otherwise. And does that mean that I'm not looking at this in terms of like, should I be buying or selling? I'm definitely not looking for swing shorts in this region. It's just not something that's a good idea to do anytime that you're below, $21,000, give or take. It's just not a good place to be looking for a swing short. However, if you're looking for swing longs, I would say be patient, or if your time horizon is 3 years out, again, divide up your capital, make it so that you're like, all right, if I'm going to dollar cost average, I'm going to do it the smartest way possible. $20,000 is that psychological level. We haven't seen these levels since 2020. It's a good time to add one position size into my long-term portfolio, and then I'll either wait for time or price to tell me when I'm going to buy again next. Because we are on the back half, in my opinion, of the potential bear market here, and not potential, but the bear market. This is the time when you want to be buying. So I'm still looking to see if we can't get down to that 19,301 level. Honestly, I do think that there's a fairly good chance we come back to this. This is an old swing failure pattern that we'd identified for this low here before it came in, which was really nice. So it was a good level to have on the chart. But a lot of times, once you get down to these levels, they're going to go ahead and be retested. This is where people really settled up and drew the line in the sand last time. So there's quite a bit of liquidity below this low. And then obviously you just want to mark out your previous low and the daily down here just beneath it. You've got one level of support below this local low that I was hoping to get tapped. One thing I did want to show you actually is, you remember when we were on Debate Crypto back in June, I showed you some forks, and this is the fork that we had going on right here. If you recall, it was the BCD on the weekly. It was a log scale fork, and we were looking at this in terms of overall price action, right?
And to clarify real quick for everybody, we're not talking about a hard fork of any kind. We're talking about, this is a tool.
Oh yeah, a pitchfork. So this is a pitchfork, guys, for anyone that doesn't know. I use these a little differently than other people. I combine them with harmonics to give us a projection of where price is going to go. And I'm really working off of a very large pattern that took multiple years for the entire bull run. If we were to take a look at it just real quick, it is a log scale pattern. So you won't be able to work this up in linear with the actual tool, but it is a deep crab. All right. So this was your pattern that actually topped out. What you're looking to see this do is get back above 20,688.50, that same key level we were just talking about. I'm gonna get rid of these pivots because we just don't need them on there. And you can see I've got a small box right here. You can barely see it because we're zoomed in, but I'll show you what it looks like on a low time frames. We've come up and back tested the breakdown of this fork. So we came down, we exactly tapped the lows. It's now being retested as resistance. And what you want to see is price get back inside of this pattern or inside of this trajectory and make that move up, especially above $24,000, until price really reclaims, in my book, probably 21.5 at this point. You know, like if it was a really quick move, 21.5. If it's something that we just come up and we're holding 20,000, call it 700, that would be okay as well. And you could really use 20,700 as a basing area. So if this begins to get continuation, yeah, you've got your levels below. I'm still looking at this as, can we swing fail these lows? I'm only interested if the opportunity is given to trap traders and get in on the right side of the move. However, I'm being a little cautious with my funds as of right now. I'd like to see a little more price action before I start committing medium-term swing trading funds that usually will, have a little bit of leverage behind them. Nothing crazy. But if you go down to the low time frames, you can really see how this is being respected. It's fallen out of the fork, and it's come back up. It's tapped it. This is where we knew we were looking for rejection, and now we're looking down to probably that 19,916.50 level again, see if quarter three can hold. And if it can, we might root around here for a while, as we alluded to last week. And that would be the best thing for Bitcoin, is to put something constructive in down here, get a lot of people on the opposite side of the market thinking we're going to break down, and then reclaim some levels. That's the strength you want to see if you're going to get into the move. Otherwise, to me, it's kind of a waiting game. I'm just taking my day trades and enjoying what's going on. Like today's move, for instance, we talked about Delta before. This is the volume chart. We've talked about this. We've kind of covered it a little bit. This is your Delta. So you can see that really high Delta coming into the market here, but you can also see you're making lower highs, meaning that larger players, institutions, however you want to word it, have set up limit orders there, and they are absorbing the price action into resistance. So they are filling shorts. And so you need to make sure that you're on the right side of this move, and you can see the reversal happening, and take your entry and you take that day trade, usually down to the daily point of control or other targets, which you're hitting right now. So yeah, that's a pretty quick breakdown, but
no, that was really good, really helpful. And again, just clarifying for everyone who's watching, this is one of the reasons I love Kagan. I love bringing him on, is because, again, zero emotion about, he's not attached to the price getting above 25,000 or below 19,000. He's going to trade it. But with that being said, Kagan, one of the questions got for you, with that rejection, because I love what you're saying there, looking at that fork tool, that pitchfork tool, and the fact that we now just turned what was support, and pretty strong support, into resistance, would you not look at that and speculate that is actually a pretty bearish thing, and a sign of, hey, we got to have a lot of bullish momentum come into space before we can break back through it? Or are you not that worried about it at this point, seeing as that it's not significantly below the line? What are your, I know, again, you're not an emotional person, but to the best of your ability, what are your feelings about what you're currently seeing when it comes to that tool, and the fact that we are below it and rejecting on it actively?
So my feelings on that is kind of, I think we'll take the current local low that we've set in right around 19.5 for sure.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say for sure. You never know anything, but
right.
I think that would be something I'd be waiting for, especially if that opportunity arose and we did swing fail it, get an opportunity there. But it's definitely not a bullish thing to be living below this level, back testing it. I mean, we both know in TA, one of the first things you learn is confirmations on a back test, and that's not a good sign. So the interesting thing about the area that we're in, and I'm going to get rid of a lot of the stuff on here actually, and we have a larger trajectory if you were to include more price, which takes us down to 10K back in like November. However, Again, the 3-month chart, if you guys really zoom out, so we're talking macro here, you have to be able to zoom out, and you've got to look at this and say, okay, if we can hold 19,916, can we set in a 3-month level of support and start showing some strength here where the momentum to the downside is waning? That's going to be your first indication that, hey, maybe things are reversing, like you see it here, you see it here, and these are high time frame reversals. You saw it here before we made a new all-time high. Obviously, this is a pretty bearish 3-month candle though. However, if you can hold this 19,916 through September, which it seems like quite the feat at this point, based on what the Fed has said they're going to do, which you were spot on with in our last conversation, a couple of them actually. And if it holds this area, I think that'd be good, but that's like a month away. So in the short term, yeah, I'm still leaning kind of bearish.
Yeah.
I'm not fully in the camp yet of like, hey, we should be all in here. We should be buying this as a macro low. I think the recipe is there over the coming weeks to month to put it in. It's just a matter of patience and not putting yourself in a position either to be all in or all out of the market right now. Because I do think if you're DCAing, like this is the time to start looking at opportunities all the way down to 13K, 10K. Like, can those numbers come? Yes. But we really need to see the resolution of this. And if you look at it on a monthly, you can kind of see what I'm alluding to here. The one thing you don't want to see, and this is going into tomorrow, monthly close, right? You can see that the low of this candle here on Bitstamp is 18,763.96. So, $18,760. You have taken the prior month high here at, what is that, 24,676, and now you look like you might try to close below the low. So you would be engulfing this last candle here, and that really doesn't bode well for price action in most cases. You would look at that on the, the medium and high time frame and say, man, that looks like continuation. Really need to get back above, that 20,700 pivot and see if we can't hold it. Otherwise, yeah, we're probably looking down to these targets. And for anyone that's got capital ready to deploy, you're probably happy to see that. Nobody likes to hear the price is going down because it hurts the community and a lot of times. But for those that had a plan and were prepared, that's almost like Christmas come early. They're ready to get in there and actually get that average, get that good, get the good price on assets for once, because it's been an up only market for a while. So, take that for what you will.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm gonna do some little bit. I want you to watch it, and I want to get your take on it. Smay, go to my screen really quickly. You look at the Bitcoin chart. Those of you who watched the show yesterday, I talked about this. I've talked about this trend for a while now, but in case you guys haven't seen the show, it's the first time, you guys will see it. Throughout here, ever since, in June to about July, we kind of were moving almost in a sideways zone. That's what those green lines are from. But then starting here, July 13th, this is right around the time the ETH 2.0 merge got announced. The date was given. The entire market began to climb, and we began to set higher highs and higher lows. We began a secondary bull trend, and so that means everything's going up. This dip that we had, though, so this, when we came back down and tested a new low, we set, that low around 20,800 or so. This stopped that bull trend, and we started a secondary downtrend, a secondary bear trend. And so this is what I've been talking about, and we're watching that candle develop right now. It didn't quite get as high as I thought it was. But my point that I've made to my channel several times, Kagan, I want to hear your take on it, is that we are now in the process of a secondary downtrend where we are setting lower lows and lower highs. And as you said, I think you gave a number just like it. I've said if we can get above 21.8, if we can break that, then we can break this downtrend. But what we're going to need is bullish momentum. And as you talked about earlier when you're doing it, we don't have the bullish momentum we need right now. And when we're calculating in the negativity that the Fed kind of pumped in the market, and we got to kind of wait for the 2nd to get the unemployment numbers. We got to wait for the 13th of September to get the inflation numbers. Right now, there's just not enough fundamental bullishness to warrant climbing back above 21.8, in which case we were doomed to reject somewhere in this region. I thought we'd get up to this yellow box. It doesn't look like we're quite there. It's not over yet. A lot could change. But I think we're doomed based off, and I know you're not a big formation person, but this rising wedge, it predicts 19,000. This bear flag, it predicts 19,000. I think that we're going to be going down to 19,000. And what makes it even worse, going over here, this is the tool that I use. This is Markets Pro. I think there's actually a link in the description if you guys want to get it. It's one of our affiliate links. But I think it's phenomenal because it just gives you so many ratings to go on. And one of the things I'm keeping a very close eye on right now, while we do have negative news, is this metric right here is tweet sentiment. So 63,000 tweets today. and 39.94. So let's just call that 40% of them are positive, 40% are neutral, and this number, the negative, has dropped. Yesterday, this was sitting at 23% were negative. Now it's less than 20%. The sentiment of the average person is still bullish. They still have hope on the market. Well, what do we know whales and manipulators do with this information? They crush dreams. And this this is one of the things that makes the price dip down here.
Jerome Powell crushes dreams. Let's be real.
Yeah, Jerome Powell is crushing dreams. But yeah, I'm going to throw it back to you now. You can go off my screen, Smay. What are your thoughts about that? Because I know you like to look at the charts. You don't do as much going into the news and all the sentiment like that. But what are your thoughts when you see those more, not macro, because that's not macro in terms of long term, but it's bigger than just looking at like 15-minute charts in the next couple hours. That's looking at the next couple weeks or so. What do you do with that type of information with all that you're looking at on the charts? Did we lose him? Did the Zoom link die?
No.
Oh,
Is he?
can you hear us, Magic Internet Money?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay.
I am seeing something that says we have 3 minutes left. I don't know what Zoom is doing today. We paid for Zoom. I don't know why it wants to cancel us out. But sorry, we lost you there for just a second, Kagan. Did you hear the rest of my question?
Yeah, you were talking about, basically the pattern playing out to the lows of the range. And I agree. This is, one of those times where you don't have that bullish momentum. And I do find it interesting, the point that you made with that. It's a really cool indicator, the sentiment indicator, because I noticed that too. There's a lot of people that are, I think it's because, a little bit to do with some of these larger channels. And I don't think that they're doing it maliciously, but there are some large channels out there that are pumping some hopium in the market, and I'm kind of on the side with you in the sense that if the Fed hasn't pivoted yet and we have bearish formations going on, and as I think you used the term primary and secondary, we're in a primary downtrend. The secondary uptrend is now ended, and there's no reason for us to think that it's returning. So 19K seems like it's coming. I would say, I think we'll hit 19K, probably 18,880. And then maybe even make a stab at those lows,
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where you were pretty spot on with the sentiment on, the public. But one thing I wanted to point out is you were mentioning that you were listening to the other people on the Fed board, and you were like, they're saying the opposite of Jerome Powell.
Yeah.
Everyone on there is very, very hawkish, while he's kind of given some hopium going into that last Jackson hole. And then he came out and he was quoting Volkner. He was quoting some guys that, we're doing some pretty heavy lifting in terms of rate rising back in the 70s and 80s. So
Yeah.
That was a pretty aggressive speech, to say the least.
Forceful, very forceful.
That was one of those things where I think that's probably one of the most important things that's not a technical indicator right now. That your subscribers are really lucky you cover it the way you do, because there's not a lot of people that do cover it that well. They all just kind of make assumptions. But man, this thing's really nuking through here.
Yeah, it is picking up steam too. And again, I'm not perfect. I was telling our subscribers yesterday. I thought we'd get up to around 20,800 before. We wicked at around 20,000, almost 600. I thought we'd climb a little bit higher before we rejected. And it's not over. I mean, this could just be a red candle that closes and then we go back up. But I've been holding to it, and I'm holding fast. And it sounds like, getting to hear from you, you're kind of in the same boat. Like, I don't think the bleeding of this little fall is over. Now, it's good to always make sure you're prepared for if-whens and saying, if this happens, I'm going to change my mind. So if we surpass 21,800, I will change my mind. If we surpass this, if we drop to this, I will change my mind. But right now, I'm just telling you, with the combination of what I'm seeing on the charts, the trend the trend is your friend until it ends, but then the combination of bearish fundamentals, bearish news, bearish facts are in the space, but the sentiment is still positive. That is, to me, the definition of weak hands just holding on to hope. And like you said, Jerome Powell, as well as whales, I think he just got canceled out. What I think
I was trying to tell you, but
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll have to fix that
we
later.
weren't signed into Whoever started the meeting wasn't signed into Zoom.
Yeah, he said he was signed into the beginning.
I couldn't have started it if I wasn't signed in.
That's disappointing, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're taking over here, Kagan. If you're still watching, thank you so much. We'll fix that later. But my point that I was going there before Kagan, the Zoom call ended on him, is it's just what we're looking for right now, and this is what we will always go back to. What will the bottom of the bear market be? It will be when all of the weak hands have been rooted out of the space. When I'm looking at these metrics and I'm looking at the chart and I'm looking at all these different information, is there a lot of weak, like we have less weak hands than we had up at 69,000 for sure. We have less weak hands than we had at 30,000 for sure. But there are still weak hands in the space. How many? That's the question on everyone's mind. I believe there's very strong reason to suspect we will see a sub $18,000 Bitcoin again. But for right now, I'm starting with, I think we'll see a sub 19,000. I want to then wait to see what the market looks like. I want to wait to see what the chart looks like. I want to wait to see what the sentiment looks like. I want to wait to see what the news looks like. This is something TShroom and I were talking about this morning. Keep this on your calendar. Here in just a couple of days. Like the second is Friday, right? I think on Friday, we'll get unemployment numbers. What will those look like? But the only difference now is in this last Jackson Hole take that Jerome Powell gave, he kind of actually hinted at people are going to lose jobs. The unemployment numbers, as great as they've been, they're not going to hold. And so let's say the unemployment raises by a little bit, because it actually was going down the last couple of months. Let's say the unemployment numbers raise a little bit. That's not going to factor in. I think Jerome Powell is going to stay steady. The only thing that would make him potentially say, we have a problem, is if those unemployment numbers skyrocket up well above 5 to 6%. But at the moment, they're sitting at 3.58 was the last number we got, something.
3.5, yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 was the last number we got. Unless we see a massive jump in those numbers, I don't think Jerome Powell is going to be deterred from this hawkish take he just gave at Jackson Hole. So we got to wait for that. But again, we're kind of factoring in that information might not be as crucial as it has been in the past. Then we have to wait here for 2 more weeks. On the 13th, we actually see the new inflation numbers. But then we'll have to wait a couple more days before we get the CPE numbers. CPE, PCE?
The CPI?
No, CPI is going to be 13th. What's the one that they look at, the core inflation?
I have not been tracking when that one's coming out. It may come out after or the day before the 21st. I can look that up now.
Yeah, I'm blanking on which one it is. It's PCE or CPE?
It's PCE.
PCE?
Yeah.
Okay, I was right about that. Okay. Yeah, so we'll have to wait on those numbers, which is where they actually make decisions. But even that is going to be one of those things where, okay, even if the number stays the exact same as last month or only dips a little bit, here's the thing. People were rejoicing when CPI numbers were at 8.5, down from 9.1. And guess what Jerome Powell and the Fed's take on this was? It's still high. And so it's almost like the way they're responding right now is what we really wish they would have responded like in January. But they were dovish back then, and they're taking it seriously now.
Yeah.
This is good for the economy long term for him to be taking this very seriously. That does, however, mean there could be further pain in the crypto market. I want to see all of these things come out before I start to say with certainty we're going to go lower than 18,000.
Yeah.
I think right now what's in my mind safe is 19,000. I think we're going to see sub 19,000. The question mark with probably a higher probability of not doing it is going below 18,000. The question is, let's see what happens in the news and let's see what the market looks like with weak hands and strong hands with retail and whales and institutions. That's what's going to differ between do we actually go down to those $13,000, $11,000 numbers, or can we potentially somewhat double bottom around 17.6 and then resume a bull run? It's not TShroom. You said you had an update.
Yeah, the next PCE numbers, this is on BEA.gov. Next PCE, personal consumption expenditures price index is September 30th, which is so weird. Why they, I mean, in hindsight, I'm sure they wish they'd rescheduled that, but that's going to come after the rate decision on the 21st. So, we'll see what happens with that. But basically, it's irrelevant because that's not going to affect it'll affect the one for the month after September, but it's not going to affect September, which is the big one.
Yeah. Man. Well, that's really a bummer that Kagan got kicked off like that.
I was trying to warn you that it was coming up.
I saw the timer.
Talking.
I saw the timer, but I didn't know if you had the time to. Man, that is so weird.
Yeah,
I was signed in.
I was
signed in. Yeah, there's nothing we could do.
That is strange.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and finish here for a couple more minutes. I'm going to do some more TA. I always love we're going to have to get Kagan on again very soon.
Yeah, he's great.
Although our schedule's filling up. Guys, just so you know, we got some bangers of guests coming over the next couple of weeks.
Bangers.
We are filling this up fast. I'm actually, at this point, one of my struggles is scheduling and I'm having to tell people hey, I got a slot here in a month and a half. Do you want to come on? And so They're all of them are so quality. Like, you guys are gonna love this. I'm so excited about the future of this show and where we're going with it. But let's do some.
Let me.
You have an update? You have a
Well, I was gonna say, let me give you a breather real quick because you've been really going at it. So why don't we? I mean, we have a couple super chats. You want to go ahead and read those real quick?
Yeah, we can do some super chats.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been really going at it. I can see you starting to sweat. You're starting to break a sweat.
You know,
here,
the AC
so.
in this room isn't the bestest.
All right, so I'm gonna read just 2 super chats real quick, just to keep people in it. You know, so here we have from Eric Wallen said, "Stay," as in Smay. Stay. Are you still on your quest to Mordor wearing that ring? And the answer to that is yes. I'm actually. I'll just show you guys this real quick. I'm almost done. Not almost done. I'm 20% done. So
20% done with the whole quest?
no, with the first part.
Oh, I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's a lot of miles.
You've
All
been
right.
walking. If that.
Yeah, it's a lot of miles.
Thing.
It's a lot of miles.
How long do you estimate it's gonna take you to finish the entire thing, Smay?
The entire thing is probably gonna take me a year. So
Wow.
That's gonna be fun to complete and do, and so on. So and then next super chat we have here is from Daniel J. Says, "Look at me, I am your sponsor now." Mascot name yet?
What?
I read it verbatim. Mascot name yet? As in, is the
Do we have a
name
mascot name
for
yet?
the
And we
the mug
do
man?
not yet.
We don't. We have some suggestions out there. I still am really. I mean, Muggsy is definitely there. Someone said Satofi. So they got their coffee mixed with Satoshi in there. But we're definitely in the comment section. So you guys can say it in chat. It's hard to know in chat. And go back and
I
find
do
it. If
like
you guys
Muggsy.
leave comments with name suggestions.
What about
that'll-
Muggsy McMugface?
That's a long name.
Oh, hold on. What about Naka Cold Brew?
Do you remember? That's good, Smith.
I love the reaction.
Do you remember?
Can we get
where-
that sound? Hold on, real quick. Can we get that sound again? Can we do that laugh bit? There we go. That's
Yeah.
You're
cute.
welcome.
So Bodie McBoatface. Do you guys remember?
Yeah, I
what
do
that's
remember
from?
Buddy McBoatface.
So they like
No, I don't.
it was like Scottish government came up with the concept that they were gonna crowdsource the name. So they put on the website like write in names, and I think 4chan or Reddit or somebody found this competition, and they all coordinated to name this boat Bodie McBoatface. So now there's a boat that is part of the Scottish fleet of whatever naval.
Yeah.
Might not even be Scotland, but anyway. And then Mountain Dew did something similar. So, and that
It was
one
great
went, that one
story,
went a lot
TShroom.
more
That's
south.
great.
But
It was great.
I think a Muggsy McMugface would be my vote.
That is a good one. Daniel, this one is actually in a different one. Daniel J just said Finn, as in Finsov. That actually makes a lot of sense too, Daniel. That's a great
Finn,
suggestion.
that's
I'll
a
write that
good
one
one.
down.
It's not a bad idea. Looking at the charts, though, sorry to take us away from this light moment, but do you think we're going to see...
Yeah.
do you think we're going to fully... If you go to my screen,
We're
looking
dropping fast.
Yeah, we might fully retrace yesterday's gains at this rate. Although it's getting bought up now. Buying up that wick. But yeah, we might...
Yeah, let me look.
Go back down.
I'm going to
and see
go to my screen here real quick, Smay. We're going to go... Let's jump down to charts I never look at. 15-minute charts. We're getting low here. Definitely, RSI is very low, sitting at 14. It's not over. So this you can't call this and say with absolute certainty that this is calling, but it's set up at the moment with bullish RSI divergence, where you're looking at the peak, the bottom where we had back here at 19.5. The RSI only got down to about 19.41. So at the moment there's a look of bullish RSI divergence down on the 15-minute chart, but that's far from being confirmed. Then we go even farther down the 5-minute. Let's see what else we got. Very, very far. Holy cow. We're definitely overextended to the downside in RSI. Let me look at a couple other things. Let's see what Lux Algo is saying. Let's see what
Lots of volume right now.
On these lower charts on the 5-minute, there's lots of volume coming in, but that's to be expected. Even like what Kagan was showing there. I don't often do forks. I remember talking with him, and yes, he showed me that indicator, and I thought it was a really cool tool. But as he showed on the Zoom call, it was like a perfect retracement back up to that line that it had broken after not being below it for so long, and then it kissed it as resistance and then fell back down. I wonder how many traders were looking at levels like that and just seeing, he the way he breaks things down and the tools he uses to show the strength and to show when trends are coming to an end based off the volume being used and how heavy it is. Like, have you ever heard that there's traders out there, if you don't know what you're doing, they're going to steal all your money from you because they know exactly what's going on in the market and they see your power and they see what you don't have and what you... Kagan's one of those guys. And he's not a mean guy. He's a great guy. He loves you guys. He wants you to succeed. But just so you know, if you guys have lost money in a trade before, odds are Kagan's probably taking it from you. No, just well overextended. We're on a sell order that we're sitting. We definitely wick down below on the 5-minute chart to take profit there. 15-minute chart, let's see what Luxalgo's saying about the 15-minute chart. We're not there quite yet. It has us going all the way down, potentially as low as 19.6, maybe all the way back down, double bottoming, if not going lower. Although what I will say is there's more volume on this dip than there was on this one over here. If you're looking at this 15-minute chart, way more traders involved over here. And, man, this is, I had a feeling this was coming. I had a feeling that this, hence the title of this video. I had a feeling that this was going to be a bull trap and that people were excited. And I was looking at this tool like over here on Markets Pro, and I was looking at the positivity and the lack of negativity, and yet all the news was negative in terms of what was factual and was not factual. But this is what you're looking at when you're reading articles, when you're reading tweets. Pay attention to what is factual and what is opinion. Right now, factually, crypto is headed down. There's things that are pushing it down. Now, it doesn't make crypto less. It doesn't make crypto bad. It's not like Bitcoin is falling apart fundamentally. It's just all the pressures that push on the price are pressing it down. But yet the people are staying so positive. It's this, oh, we've already dipped as much as we need to. We found our bottom. It's about to go up. When whales and traders like Kagan see that type of stuff, that is the trigger to them to say there is so much positivity in this market, but they don't have the momentum they need. This is a place that I can short and get some money. Now, he was clear this isn't a place that necessarily you're going to short and make a whole lot. Like he's not expecting this. I mean, at least from what he was saying, I don't think he's expecting this wick here on the hourly chart to shoot down to 19,000. It's still going to take some time, and there's still some things that need to play out. But he was very adamant that the pressure, the bullish pressure there's no bullish pressure pushing this little rally. This is more like almost like the bears just needed a breather during this dip, and it was time to come back down. And I'll remind you guys, last thing I'll do here on Bitcoin, here's the thing, just one more reason why I just don't think that we're going to hold up. And I think we're going to go down to 19,000. This bear flag sends us down to 19,000. This ascending wedge sends us down to 19,000. The volume, just all this bear pressure, we rejected at the top of this level of volume and we stopped. But in all reality, when you pull up the VRVP, there was just a little gap right there. There's a reason why we paused right there. There was a breather for the bears, but now that they're gaining strength, they're going to push right through that and head down here. I wish I could prevent it. I wish that I could snap my finger and Bitcoin's going to climb to new all-time highs. That's not how it works. We just got to prepare ourselves for what we see on the charts, and then long term, when we're zooming out for years, we will make profit when we keep our eyes on this stuff and buy at the right places.
Yeah, really quick before we go back to community stuff, if you go to my screen, Smay, so oil is it's come back down under this support, so it was unable to flip this resistance into support, and now it's coming back down south. So that's good for inflation. That means that the inflation is like the economy is running on cheaper oil right now. Mm-hmm. So everything's kind of cheaper for the month of August. Remember, I circled yesterday, and I'll do it again because I felt like I just got such good positive reception on that. But this is where inflation. This is what inflation was, has been really highly correlated with the price of oil. And this was the prices around in June, right? And then you fast forward to July, peaking into August, and it's still pretty high, but coming down, right? And now when we get this August print on inflation, it's going to be based on an economy that's running off of sub 95 per barrel oil, which is very, very, I really don't think that Jerome is going to make a decision, is going to come down to 50 basis point hike. But if he does, man, it's going to be because of this, because oil has been able to stay below this support, stay below this resistance rather, and then I'll also show you the Nasdaq, and this is starting on today right here, and it is just let's see, it's down 2%, so pretty significant for the Nasdaq. So it's not just happening to crypto; it's also happening to oil and the Nasdaq, which is interesting. Just selling off across the board. I do wonder where money's going right now. I guess it's going into cash. Let's check the Dixie, although I don't think that's exactly how that works. Yeah, Dixie's just
climbing.
pumping.
Yeah, the Dixie is climbing. Big. Now, there is, on the shorter time frames, go to my chart real quickly, Smay, there are bearish divergences forming on this. So if I were to go out to the daily chart, kind of zooming out, there's still that bearish divergence, but the price is climbing. And here's the one thing: as much as we have that bearish divergence, it could complete. I love divergences, but by no means do I ever want anyone to think that divergences are 100%. They do have times where they fail. Guess what we also are in longer time frame is we're in a megaphone ascending wedge, which means instead of converging, it's broadening. And if that plays out and we go to resistance again, we could see a price as high as 113.18, like even high. I mean, it could delay and go even higher. But there's just for people who are thinking, oh, the worst is behind us. There's just still so much that can play out. And I want to keep it positive. I don't want everyone freaking out and saying Bitcoin's over, because here's the thing. This does not have any reflection whatsoever on the fundamentals of Bitcoin. This does not have any reflection whatsoever on the reflection of Ethereum, of the fundamentals of Ethereum, or even Cardano. This does not tell us that these projects are dead and gone. It's just the market pressures that help push prices up and push prices down. Right now, the bearish pressures are the ones kind of leading the market. So what you have to do with this information, I've said this before, you can sit and cry and say it's not fair. I thought I was going to go up. Why do these people press these things and manipulate the market? You can do that. I don't know who that helps. Or you can say, you know what? Instead of fighting the whales and fighting the manipulators, I'm going to learn to think like they think, and I'm going to attach myself to them, and I'm going to ride the markets the way they ride the markets. And that's what's going to set you up for a life of success. But I can give you a cheat sheet. If I were to zoom out and come out here to the monthly chart or the 3-monthly chart, the future of Bitcoin, the future of Ethereum is up and to the right. The question is, where is the bottom? When is the bottom? We don't know the answer to that. We just have to know, hey, we got to invest at the smartest times possible and daily come in and check in and tune into what is happening on the charts, in the sentiment, in the market, and we'll do the best we can. For anyone who's watching right now, you guys are some of the few. I know you can get really discouraged. I know there's days where you're just like, man, am I just screwing this up? Am I in a losing game? Am I going to lose all my money? I can tell you right now, those of you who are tuning in every single day and watching and learning and growing your education in this field, you are the ones that will have success in the bull market. What's going to happen is we're going to get back up. When the bull market finally hits and we climb back up, newer people aren't going to jump in until we see Bitcoin price upwards of $70,000. The new people just will not jump in until we've already hit new all-time highs. And then they're going to have very minimal to the upside before they end up having bought the top and the price comes down. But you guys learned how to read the markets and you're ready for it. And you bought down here really low, and then you're going to take your profit up top and you're going to change your financial sovereignty for the better forever. So that's all I have here. We do need to go ahead and engage. Were there any other super chats, Smay, before we kind of do? We got a HODL trophy, and then we have some announcements before we close out today's stream.
We do have one more super chat, and it's actually from Magic Internet Money. It says, thanks for having me on. Smash the likes for these guys. Cheers.
Yeah. And I bet he's wishing we also figured out how to use Zoom, too. So
Yeah,
we're going to try to do that.
That is really weird that we were signed in and it's still closed out.
Yeah,
All
I'm a little bit upsetty spaghetti about that one.
Price predictions.
Oh, speaking of, I really like, just real quick, I really love the analysis you guys did. I actually saw a tweet about something similar to that on Joe's Twitter. So
Joe's Twitter?
Yeah.
Joe
Mama?
Yeah, Joe Mama.
Okay. All right, guys. So thank you for that. We're about to do the HODL. I am the reigning champ of the HODL trophy, so I get to go first. And you guys know the rules. We might update rules from time to time. Someone asked last week. They asked, why don't you guys just do all your predictions ahead of time and then you don't trap each other? We used to do that, but we thought it was more fun and engaging to play a little game with it with strategy. I'm gonna go ahead and predict on Bitcoin where I think we're gonna get to. Let me go to the 4-hourly chart because we have some time here. So here's the thing. There's so much that can happen. So Friday, we're going to get the report in a second. I think we'll bounce. I do think we'll see sub 19,000, but I'm going to play a little bit of a game here where I think that we're going to have somewhat of a little bounce. I'm going to say 19,000. I'm going to make it harder on you guys. I'm going to say 19,300. I think we're going to drop below and then potentially start bouncing back up. Maybe. We'll see.
19.3.
19.3 is my final answer. Who was the last winner before that? Was it TShroom? So you get to go second.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And Smay gets the back cleanup.
19.3. I'm going to do... I'm going to do 19.3. I'm going to do 19.200. Can I go that close to
Nope, you have to be 500 away.
you? Okay, I'll take.
So you have to go 18.
I'll do 18.8.
Is
Yeah.
the highest you can go.
I'll do 18.8.
18.8. Okay. Smay, you get the last one. And Matt, I did not copy you. I wasn't looking at chat when I made my prediction, so you and I are just that smart of people.
My prediction is 17.5.
I was taking the lower. Wow.
17.5.
That's so extreme, Smay.
Whoa. That is down there. Well, let me know in chat. And it's looking like Matt C's with me at 19.3. Who else? We got Silent. He also agrees at 19.3. What do you guys think? Put it in chat. And then I'm going to challenge you also. Go put it in the comments section below to make sure we get to see what you guys predicted as well. But as it stands, I'm actually the bull of the room. I'm the highest predictor at 19.3. That's, we'll see. I like my prediction of 19.3, but I also love being the highest because in case I'm wrong and we end up having a little bullish momentum,
nice.
I get to keep that win.
I'm happy with my prediction.
Yeah, I mean, it's good predictions, mate. Anything's possible at this point.
I don't think it's a good prediction. I think it's a bad prediction.
That is
Hey,
that
why don't
is
you
what we
shush?
have. Here, we're going to wrap out this show here, guys.
Oh.
That is all we have for the show, but a couple of announcements I want everyone to be aware of before we leave. The first one that is very, very important is that we are about here in like 15 minutes going to be having our membership stream. All those green names, make sure you stay tuned. That's going to be a blast. Also, so make sure, go back last night and watch our Crypto Foundations episode 1, all about what is Ethereum. It was a phenomenal video. Make sure you go like it and then share it with friends, because any one of your friends that doesn't really know much about crypto, and specifically Ethereum for this video, they're going to want to see it so they can learn more to invest wisely. Go like it and share that with your friends. Tomorrow, let's see here. Today, I will be interviewing Forrest from Crypto Stackers about Ethereum. So we're kind of following up yesterday's video with more news on what the next 16 months of Ethereum will look like. You don't want to miss that either. That will be going live at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow morning, Caleb Franzen will be joining the show. Don't miss that one. And the last announcement that I have for you guys. So, one of our mods here, you guys see him in blue, Mike Markle, is doing something absolutely phenomenal. And that is he is riding his bike across, I don't know how far he's going. I think it's 800 miles. There's a page right here. Go to my screen, Smay. But he's riding this. It's a charity to raise funds for cystic fibrosis. And I don't know if any one of you guys have friends or family that have this, but this is a disease that still has no cure. So thank you so much, Mike, for having the heart to continue to help raise funds so that we can fight this disease together. If you would love to support him, we're going to put this link in the description down below. Actually, right now, you can go off my screen now, Smay. I'm going to put this link in the comments section, and you guys can go here and support Mike as he rides his bike. I think it's 800 miles to raise funds.
It doesn't say right there. It's 1250.
1250. I thought somewhere I don't know.
Do you not see it right there on the page?
You know,
You got to open your
one
eyes.
way or another. It looks like he's had a lot of support. He's already raised $660. His goal is to raise $1,000. Let's outdo that goal. Let's everybody who has a heart for cystic fibrosis. Let's help Mike beat his goal of $1,000 right now. Click on that link in the comment section.
Let's double it, baby.
With that being said, though, I'm so glad that he brought this to my attention, because this is what the future of this channel is. It is a community of people who love and encourage each other to continue to strive for financial sovereignty. But guess what? You cannot have financial sovereignty and have complete control over your money and not care about the rest of the world and the things around you and the people that don't even have freedom over their own body, with things like, you know, with the ministry we have, the ministry we support, Life for the Innocent, or even fighting diseases like cystic fibrosis. This is what crypto is going to be amazing at, is helping people come together and make this world an absolutely better place. If that is something that you want to be a part of, make sure to be a part of not only subscribing to this channel, but join the membership, join Club DeFi, be a part of this amazing growing community in the crypto space. That is all I have for you guys. Love each and every single last one of you, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.